Hey guys, and welcome back for another video for I Am Legion for Dying Light 2. This is the Reborn series, and today I have been working a little bit overtime trying to revitalize the mod a little bit and release 1.5, or sorry, 0.5. So we're continuing to move forward on the mod. Thanks to the community, I've been receiving a lot of feedback, and a lot of the bugs as we've been developing and patches have been coming out have been cleaned up and taken care of. So I've gone through and actually reworked a lot of the code today, and we should have a much more insane, the most difficult version of the game yet. And I'm going to go ahead and show you, this is what you should be seeing if you are playing the Ultimate Survivor version of the game. And as you can see, that's my little test to show you that volatiles are now spawning into the world, that they are ahead of you when you are starting to run through the world. When you're trying to get away, they're already kind of hanging out waiting for you. Now, the reason that the scale of this game is so difficult at this point for me is because I've gone back for a lot of testing to make sure that I am looking at this experience from a new player. So I actually have nothing unlocked. And this is right after the prologue. So thank you for the modder who uploaded this to the Nexus mods. It's been very helpful for testing, but we now have a much more dense, a much more intense version of the game where these zombies, they are just waiting to slaughter you. We have special zombies spawning into the map now, so that's going to make things more difficult. We have higher density levels, and we have higher damage levels throughout the world. There was also an issue with some of the screamers that were spawning in the world getting locked up. I have tried to go through and make that a priority for this latest release. So a lot of that code has been cleaned up to where you should not be seeing as many virals or screamers, if you will, just kind of hanging out, standing there, waiting for the glitch to happen. So hopefully as you're crawling through, you should see a much more intense world that is reactive to you. Kind of the idea behind this is that if you're playing the Ultimate Survivor version, then you've got a lot to be working towards. This is not catering towards new players that have never played the game before, but rather ones that have played the game, did not find it as intense as they were hoping, that are looking for a new challenge and are willing to put in the grind to actually survive the zombie apocalypse. And so the idea here is that a lot of the spawning has been unlocked. A lot of the different variants of the zombies have been added to the world. And so from the start, your world should be more difficult. The world should be more reactive. These guys should be coming after you. And I have updated a lot of the code to where the virals are the ones that are going to jump up on the actual buildings. The biters themselves should be crawling up the walls, but I've still tried to limit their viewpoint to where they're not going to directly see you up on the building top until you start making noise. So the more noise you make, the more you can expect them to start coming up towards you. I do have lighter versions of the of this mod, so this is not the only intensity. This is just the highest intensity, and one of the reasons that I'm showing these videos is because this is my preferred play style, and definitely something that I enjoy. But I also want to let everybody know that there are easier versions of this game or this mod available. They are called the Casual Survivor currently, and I'm going to switch over here in a second to start showing you some of the upcoming settings that I'm creating to where you can help actually define the play style and actually start defining some of these challenges yourself. So one of the things with Dying Light 1 was that a lot of players were having difficulties mixed in here to where they didn't like certain elements. Like, for example, the easiest for Dying Light 2 was this whole concept of the stamina run, draining your stamina away. A lot of people immediately were turned off to that idea. Well, currently I'm working on this concept of having all of this information built into a global configuration, and that global configuration will make it easier for you to go and make those changes to the world, and actually change things like whether or not you want stamina to be drained, whether or not you want it to be that level of difficulty, or if you want to turn those things even higher. So for example, one of the things that I currently have in there is the ability to set this density and these spawn rates. As you can see, this truly is as high and as difficult as the game could get. There are zombies everywhere at night, and so nighttime play becomes very difficult and is meant for you to be challenged, is meant for you to be trying to level your player up and get them to the point where they could actually survive in this kind of environment. So this type of environment no longer caters to you and no longer gives you the out. It allows you to be put to the test of, can you actually survive through the night. Now, I've turned off a lot of the other systems. The weather system has been removed to make way for some of the other awesome mods that are coming out on the Nexus. There's a mod called the Proper Dynamic Weather System that does a great job of showing weather systems inside the game, and so I've made way for those systems. There is also so the weather has been removed. The time scale has also been removed. So I've got that turned off for now so that I can hear your guys' feedback of what exactly you guys would like to see here in the future. And those settings will be added to the global, so you will be able to change those in the future. You can see here that we now have banshees spawning in the map. We now have different zombies down inside the map that are a challenge for us that we do have to contend with. And this should be a whole new play style for a lot of the people that are used to seeing what playing Dying Light 2 originally was. And so this should be hopefully a good new experience for you, something challenging that you can actually start leveling up your character to try to take on. And so I'm looking forward to your guys' feedback. I can't wait to hear how the gameplay is going for each one of you. And I'm now going to switch over to look at some of the systems that I'm currently setting up. So this is something that I'm currently working on. So this is very early on and is not fully implemented in the system currently, but I just want you guys to know that it is coming. So basically we have this concept of the global settings. So basically I'm creating this definition file that is being added along into the actual files, and so with that you should be able to start to see this idea of, okay, if I wanted to go in and I wanted to change, for example, the density of the spawn. So that is currently something that with this latest release you will be able to actually go in here and affect. So pay attention to the one here on the right. So underneath that chase definitions and a few others down here at the very bottom are the actual spawn densities, and I have a couple of different settings here, and eventually this will turn into documentation where I actually go and create a I Am Legion document where it actually tells you a descriptor of what each one of these things does, and it will actually outline what you need to go and change. But for now, there's this idea of, if you want to play under these different settings, go and add these settings to your game, and that should follow more in line with the actual settings that are intended for those versions of the game. So here in a little bit we will have more of this idea of the casual survivor and the actual survivor, and a lot of that will be built around the idea that you can impact the amount of spawns so that the game is basically, it's still I Am Legion, so the idea is it's still difficult, but I wanted to turn down some of the balancing there to where it's actually difficult in a different way. So for example, if you're using the Walker Edition in the future, you can expect that you will have more zombies added to the world, and I have added a balancer to where I am trying to get your guys' feedback as far as what that looks like for your guys' frame rates. So please keep me apprised of how that's going with your frame rates. I don't want anybody experiencing poor frame rates because of this mod, so I'm continuing to try to build that out for people that are having issues with their graphic fidelity. So I'm launching now into the Walker edition of the game to show that this is what the game will look like if you do not want those runners. So currently, if you're playing the Ultimate Survivor version, the original concept of Dying Light 1, the I Am Legion mod for that is that you exit a safe house and then you don't stop running. The whole world is trying to murder you, including bandits, and so you don't stop running unless you start to gain the levels that allow you to stop running. And so if you're taking your time out in the world, you're more likely to get ambushed. Versus this version of the mod, the Casual Survivor, is geared towards the original player who's looking for this idea of the AI is intelligent. The AI spawners will actually be generating AI that will try to kill you, so it'll make the game more difficult by adding the special zombies. But we have those ideas of the walkers instead of the actual climbers, so you don't have to worry about coming up to the edge of the wall and worrying about these zombies coming up and climbing walls to try to get at you. So they're going to stay on the ground. So when you're up here on the buildings, you're a little bit safer, but down in the valley below, it's pretty much instantaneous death. So the idea here is that if you want to play that game with your friends where you can get around, you can run those building tops, all you have to worry about really are the special zombies who are going to try to stop you, but the rest of the zombies will stay down on the ground. They will tackle you as soon as you hit the ground, and so you and your friends will have to make conscious decisions about where you actually want to try to go down and take on these zombies. Another thing that's changed in these two versions is I have heard your guys' feedback with the human sight. So there was an issue where the humans were able to perceive you easily across the map, and a lot of players let me know that they didn't really enjoy that play style where the humans could actually see them across the way. And so I've turned that down. It's not turned all the way back to vanilla, so you will have to let me know what you're running into, what you're experiencing, so that way I can continue to balance. But basically, you should start to see where the humans are gonna be. It's gonna allow for stealth a little bit easier. So I look forward to hearing your guys' feedback on that to see if that fits with what you are looking for. So you can see here we've started the chase. And now is when the world is ready to kill you. So up until that point, you are able to use stealth. You are able to cross those building tops without worrying about dying immediately. But then if you're detected, then prepare to run and keep running until you get back to base. Let's see if I can make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So guys, that is the version 0.5. I really look forward to your guys' feedback on this one. I put in, like I said, a little bit of overtime, really trying to make sure I ironed out these systems to make sure that everything was working correctly. I do apologize for the glitches that you guys have been seeing. There was some issues with the weather causing splash damage when I was trying to get the weather system to work, and a few other more experimental things. I am trying to transition the code to where we have these stable editions, and then if you want to try to take on more of the what am I currently working on, then you can download the alphas, the betas, and in this case I even had a Charlie. So just continue to download those and let me know your feedback. I've really appreciated the community and also the amount of testing that I've received on this mod. People have been really supportive and I've really appreciated that. Please continue to come join me on the community Discord and let me know your feedback and how you're feeling about the game. But I'm looking forward to releasing soon this idea of the global config, where you can take more time to try to set up these conditions and different variables how you want them, so that you and your friends can dive into co-op and play solo under your terms. So you can make that money stretch as far as you want on this game. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to your guys' feedback.